Well, as you may have figured out by the title of this video, we had a miscarriage. And I really just wanted to make this video because I think it'll bring closure. I know that a lot of you who are in our school in Oklahoma City already know, obviously, but our family is so big, and we have families all over the United States and all over the world who watch these videos and read these emails, and I just wanted to make a video and share this with you. I know this is going to be really hard, and certainly not a video for children to watch, but I really feel in my heart that it's something I need to do, because I think it's helpful to know that this happens and that it's common. It's one of the hardest things I have gone through, and we have gone through. And if there's anything that I have learned from this experience, is that often talking about it is what helps the most. When I found out that I had a miscarriage, actually before I found out, when I went to the ER and I had a threatened miscarriage, surprisingly, I mean, I was very sad, but the thing I was most concerned about was now having to tell everybody and how that would affect their lives. But I am so glad that we shared, the news of our pregnancy so early on, because otherwise, right now, I wouldn't have to be making this video. I wouldn't have had to share, with everybody and letting them know ahead of time so that they wouldn't come up to me and ask me how the baby was doing. So that would have been a good thing, but the amount of support, and not only that, but knowing that I am not alone in this, knowing that it is very common, has brought so much comfort. And seeing how much my family cares for me, and I'm not just talking about my immediate family, my blood family, but bilingual family. It's amazing. And again, this is going to be a long video. It's not going to be edited or anything. I don't know, maybe the long pauses will be, but I really felt it needed to be said. And so I'm just going to walk you through what happened, what I learned, and really just serve as support. I mean, I don't know, in the future somebody may need to hear this, and I just think this happened, and everything really happens to help you grow, to maybe be able to help people in the future, or make you a stronger person. So I'll just go ahead and tell you everything that happened. And if you want to stop here, you can. Now you know that we had a miscarriage on Thanksgiving. But from this point to the rest of the video, I'm going to talk about what happened, how it happened, maybe as a way to help me, let it go, and not let it go because I will never let it go, but bring closure perhaps, and also as a way to help other people cope with this. And that's why I'm doing it. So if you want to spare the gory details and everything, you now know, and I am so grateful for your support and your love, and I could not have gone through this without my bilingual family. So now for the ones of you who stayed, we found out we were pregnant on October 20th. I actually don't remember the exact date, but I had gone on vacation to Colombia, and while I was there, I had the feeling that I was pregnant, but we wanted to wait. I was with my mom, and we wanted to wait to get here and take the test here with my husband. And so as soon as I got back, we took the test, and I was pregnant, and it's honestly, the greatest feeling in the world. And of course, we couldn't wait to tell people. I didn't even wait to tell my mom. I mean, my mom knew before I took the test. She kind of knew because we're so close. And just started telling everybody. We couldn't keep it a secret. We did wait to tell the Facebook world, or until we had our first ultrasound and saw the heartbeat and everything. And it was wonderful. It was great. Morning sickness was not so great, but it was a good feeling to know that there was life growing inside of me and that we were going to be parents. So everything was going well. When we did the ultrasound, according to our calculations, the baby should have been 7 weeks, but was only measuring 6 weeks. But the doctor didn't seem concerned or anything, and had a strong heartbeat. So all was going well, and then during Thanksgiving break, I was very, very weak, just extremely tired. If you know me, you know that I'm always on the go. In fact, this is Christmas break, and I am working. So I was just laying on the couch all the time. Would get up, eat, and come back and lay down. I was just extremely tired, sleeping all day. And then Wednesday night, I started spotting a little bit. And, my doctor had told me that it was normal to spot a little bit if I didn't have any cramps or anything. So I wasn't cramping, it was just a little bit. Then Thursday we had our Thanksgiving, and when I came home, I started bleeding more heavily. And my husband was working. He's a police officer. So I was home alone. So I told him that I was bleeding more heavily, and he immediately left work and came home. And right before he came home, I just felt like I really needed to go to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom, and I felt something come out, something that I had never felt before. And he walked in right then. And I'm so grateful that he walked in right there, because I couldn't have handled that by myself. I didn't want to look, so he looked, and he thought, he saw like a big matter, I don't know the details because I didn't see it, but he thought it was the baby. And I felt some relief from the pain, so we went to the emergency room and told them that we were having a miscarriage, or we had one, that's what we thought. And I was still bleeding a lot. They did some tests, and when they did the ultrasound, they saw the baby and the heartbeat, and it was measuring at 8 weeks and some days, which was right on track. So they sent me home. They said I had a threatened miscarriage, and that I had to be on bed rest for for 3 days. So I went home, and that night the cramps just got worse and worse, and I went to the bathroom several times in the night, and I had what they had explained, what John had seen in the bathroom was a big blood clot. So it wasn't the baby. Obviously we saw it in the ultrasound. But when I got home that night, I bled a lot more. I passed more clots, or what I thought were more blood clots. And there was a big one that I felt, and as soon as that passed, I immediately felt better, because there was times in the night that I felt like I was going to pass out when I went to the bathroom. I was so weak, and just like a wave of heat, but it wasn't hot. I didn't have a fever, but like a wave of uncontrollable heat. That's the only way I can explain it. It would just kind of take over me, and I felt like I was gonna pass out. But once that big clot, which later found out was all the products of conception, which I learned a new term, and it's just everything, I think that's when everything came out, and I immediately started feeling better. So the next morning my mom came, and we have 4 dogs, so it was kind of hard to stay in bed rest. So she recommended, and we thought it would be best for me to go to her house and continue resting. So I stayed there for the next 3 days, and just progressively got better and better, and really felt a lot better. The bleeding was slowing down, but in the back of my mind I knew that that was a possibility. And as I said earlier in the video, I was really worried, obviously for losing the baby, but I don't know why. I was so worried about my students and having to tell them, and some of them were so young, and I was just overwhelmed with emotion. So I decided to, on Sunday I had to go back to the hospital to see if my HCG levels had stayed, in progress with the pregnancy, and they didn't. They had fallen from 100,000 to 7,000, so they immediately knew that I had had a miscarriage, and they did an ultrasound, and that confirmed it on Sunday. And so then I knew I had to let at least my parents, a bilingual family, know, because they were gonna see me on Monday, and I was feeling good. I'm glad I made the decision to go back to work, because it kept my mind occupied. Not that I wanted to forget, but my body was feeling well, and it was just good to be with children. Children really brighten your day, so it was so much better than staying at home. And so I decided to send them an email and let them know what had happened, because I didn't want people asking me, that would have been the natural question to ask on the first day back from break. How's baby doing? How are you doing? And so I wasn't ready to answer that. So what was the greatest gift ever is that soon after I sent that email, I started receiving so many emails back, not only, encouraging me and just letting me know that they were with me, but letting me know that it had happened to them as well. And I don't know why. I mean, obviously it's very sad. It's very, very sad that it happens so often, especially because parent, a first-time parent is just so excited and hopeful for the future. So it's really difficult. So I don't know why it brings so much comfort knowing that it's common. It's sad that it's so common, but I think it's important to know how common it is, and people don't talk about it, I'm so glad that I decided to share it early on, really early on, because if I had waited until the first trimester, then right now, I wouldn't be making this video. You wouldn't know what had happened, that it had even happened, that I was pregnant or that I had a miscarriage. That would never surface, ever, under any circumstances, unless maybe I found out that you had a miscarriage and I would tell you, one-on-one that I had one too. But I'm so glad that I shared it early on, because it really brought comfort, and it made me feel like I was not alone, that there was not something strange going on with me, which could still be the case, but it's completely common, and I think 1 in 5 pregnancies end in a miscarriage. Sometimes people don't even know that they're having a miscarriage because it's so early on. But I feel like this happened, as terrible as it sounds, it happened for a reason. It was not the right time. I don't know why. But I'm just glad that I have such a strong support around me, and I'm glad that I shared it early on, because you guys are my family, and we are in this together with life. It's so much easier to deal with the difficult things that happen in life when you have a strong support group, and I'm just so fortunate to have you. I don't know if this video was any helpful or anything, but I needed it to get it out. And I hope that if, for whatever reason, somebody later on comes into this video or watches this video, it will bring some comfort to you. I love you all. Adios.